What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Culture 316 podcast. I'm one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Nahisi, joined by my guy Banks. What's going on, Brody?
Hey man, if y'all see my eyes red, it's not because of the medicine. It's been a weekend. I'll just say that. A lot of stuff going on, but we here. As soon as it's done, I'm watching TV and going to sleep like an old man.
I feel that as soon as this is done, I'm probably going to be watching that Liberty game and finishing up some content for the day. But per usual, thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you stream your podcast, be sure to give the show 5 stars. Be sure to subscribe to the show as well. Obviously, it's been a minute since the podcast has been on. Things have been thinging. Life has been lifing. Nevertheless, we're here now and we have a lot to talk about considering that Bad Blood is going down this Saturday on Peacock. But before we get into that, we have some pretty interesting news. So recently, Swerve Strickland was on Queen's Flip's vlog. Now, if you don't know who Queen's Flip is, he is a New York legend. He is a regular on the Joe Budden podcast. And because Swerve has a relationship with a large number of people in the hip hop community, he was on his vlog and he had some pretty interesting news allegedly about AEW's new TV situation. I'm going to give you guys a quote. He says, "We're about to move. We're about to get on Fox. SmackDown is leaving Fox and we're taking Fox. TNT, TBS, and Fox. We got all three of them things. Tony Khan lets me do whatever the F I want, and he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars." Now, you and I have been talking about AEW's TV situation for a while. Do you believe this? Do you buy this? Is AEW heading to Fox? And if so, how big of a deal is this?
I think if they do head to Fox, it works out well for the company. Obviously, Fox
Mhm.
definitely wants a wrestling promotion to fill that spot. So if they get on there, congratulations, cool. Um, I don't know what else really to say about them because they're gonna be around for a while longer. I thought they was gonna be out of here in 2 years, but apparently not. They still doing this whole shaming. Man, probably is gonna show up, and it's like, bruh, I'm telling you, nobody cares. I guarantee you nobody cares, including his dad. His dad told him, if you want to kill me, you can get the company. So, uh, with Swerve comments, I guess him trying to shout out like, "Yo, Massa own the Jaguars. Massa own the Jaguars." Like, dog, we don't care, bro. They losing. They 0-8 right now. Right? I don't care. And I'm not talking about for this season. I'm talking about going as to last season to now. So it don't even matter. Congratulations if they do. That's more money for the workers. Keep getting paid. Anna J shouts out to her. That's my favorite AEW worker besides Willow Nightingale.
Oh, okay. We're back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. Um, I think it's a great situation for them as well. We saw that Tony Khan came out after a Dynamite or Collision taping and said that that they are here to stay on Warner. So it kind of implied that there was a TNT TBS thing in the works. I just really want to know where's the announcement. We keep hearing about TV deals from here and rumors here. I want to know when the announcement is because this is not the only thing that they've been teasing. Apparently, they also have something in the works with Max to have their pay-per-views on at the beginning of 2025. So it just seems like there's a lot of rumors and there's no announcements. Like, drop the announcement. We've been talking about this for months now, weeks now, and it just seems like it's one time we're on Warner. Now it's Warner and Fox. If so, great, because like you said, it benefits the workers, it benefits the wrestlers. But it's just like, bro, where's the announcement? I'm tired of hearing about the he say, she say. We need something concrete in writing, in a press release. We need it immediately. The people need it. You know what I mean? So I just think that that's kind of the state of everything. And that's just kind of how I feel about it. I'm tired of the rumors and the reports. We want to hear announcements officially from the mouth of Tony Khan or whomever is speaking on behalf of AEW. But I do think that it's great, just like you said, for the workers, great for fans because they still have access to that alternative, and good for Fox, right? Like the fact that WWE has left, SmackDown is no longer on the network, it leaves a very big content void. You know what I mean? They were pumping out stuff for Fox, not just via TV, but for digital as well. So I am very excited to see AEW hopefully filling that void. And if they do fill that void, let's see if we can get stuff at a better time slot than 10 p.m. on a Friday night. Um, but yeah, I think that it's a great thing, and I'm very, very excited for them. But I want to know how everybody else feels. How does everybody else feel about AEW potentially moving to Fox? But we're going to be moving on. So, in addition to speaking of moving, we all know that WWE this week is going to be making its debut on the CW network. They're going to be coming live from Chicago with a debut episode featuring none other than CM Punk serving as the special guest referee between Ethan Page and Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. We also have a women's championship match set for Julia versus Roxanne with Stephanie Vaquer waiting in the wings with that cliffhanger from this past episode of WWE NXT this past week. But another thing that has been reported is that for the first two episodes of WWE NXT, the one taking place in Chicago, the other one taking place in St. Louis, is that both debut episodes are set for a TV 14 rating. So I want to know, do you believe that this is going to be permanent? Do you believe that it signifies a shift in direction as far as where NXT is going? I want to know how you feel about this NXT getting this TV 14 rating upon their move to the CW network.
Just a little bit more cursing, but for the most part, they don't. They kind of like PG to PG-13. They don't do a lot of wild stuff like that. Like the promos are
Yeah.
pretty like not even High School Musical. They pretty much like that's so Raven, so to speak. When the women talking, the acting wise as well. I don't see them doing nothing like really crazy. I think they did that TV 14 because Sexy Red gonna be there, boy. You might want to make that TVMA because she been wilding lately, especially after she left to now. There's no telling what she gonna do.
Mm-hmm. I actually agree. I think she's going to be on the St. Louis episode too. Not just
Yeah,
speak about that.
yeah. The Chicago one, I don't
But
know what to expect. Maybe I don't know. Dirk might show up. I can't think of no. Well, Lil Reese might show up. That's about it.
I think the whole TV 14 thing, I don't think it's a matter of a permanent shift in direction. I just think that it allows the program a lot more flexibility. Like, for starters, you're going to be in Chicago, which is a very, very hot wrestling crowd. Them chants are going to go crazy. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where moving to a new network where you have to do a lot of censorship and a lot of FSEP, a lot of federal regulation stuff. So I feel like that TV 14 rating allows them to do a little bit more. Plus, if you're in Chicago and you have CM Punk, God knows what he's going to do. Obviously, they're still going to be building to that feud as far as him and Drew McIntyre for Bad Blood. Since they are on the Raw roster, technically, if they do something on Tuesday, that would be like their last probable interaction before they hit Bad Blood in Atlanta. So, considering that it's a Hell in a Cell match, I can assume that there may be an encounter where there may be something very, very violent happening. In which case, this actually makes sense that they would actually have this type of rating. Um, so that there's that. But I feel like this is just a matter of just giving the program more flexibility, so that if they were to say a certain word or if they were to say a certain thing, they wouldn't get fined or whatever the case may be. Now, like you said, when they hit St. Louis and Sexy Red is there, like they had that PG rating when she made her first appearance on NXT, and she was twerking in the middle of the ring, busting her little split,
Right.
twerking.
Cussing.
That's not a that cut all that. That's not a PG thing to do. So I feel like setting this TV 14 rating is going to allow them to be able to do the things that they want to do and not get in trouble as far as their the audience. Do you have any early predictions as far as like how good these shows are going to be outside of the Sexy Red stuff? Do you think these are going to be good shows?
I think so. Um, on and off the past couple of weeks, they've been pretty good. Pardon me. I haven't been
You
able.
good?
I haven't been able to watch a lot. Y'all gotta excuse me again. Like I told Jay, it's been a weekend, brother. So nah, but the past couple episodes on and off has been pretty good. Right now, with the TV deal, I expect them to do the same thing they've been doing. I think people got to remember again, NXT, yes, it's on TV. Yes, they got a new deal, but it's still development. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Still development for the talent. They just on a big channel. So this week they showing out the young OG as he calls himself going against Randy Orton. The kid getting the rub paws, like he should really be kind of sent to that. To be under 20, I think under 25 years old, and you having a match with one of the greatest of all time, yeah, you should really consider that. Otherwise, than that, people are making speculations that somebody might debut. I think right
Mm-hmm.
now it's kind of quiet for that, but I mean, Ethan Page was kind of out of nowhere. People still talking about Ricky Starks. I think eventually he gets there, and when he does get to NXT, he shouldn't be there, but for a cup of coffee, he shouldn't be there no more than a couple months, just because the
Mm-hmm.
dude's ready for TV. If he does go to NXT and does sign, uh, so I expect it's a pretty good show, especially this week with the TV deal. You got to show up.
I agree. They do need to make an impact as far as their first week on the network, and I think that they will. Um, I agree. I think if there were to be a debut of any sorts, I can see the Motor City Machine Guns, who have been rumored to have
Yeah,
signed with WWE. I can definitely see them making an impact, considering that the tag team division is wide open. Um, they actually have some good depth, but I feel like adding Motor City can give them even more depth and give the tag team division a face moving into this new era. So I could see the Motor City Machine Guns debuting, but that's all that I have really as far as any debuts or surprises. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do on the CW. But I want to know what everybody feels as far as NXT on the CW network this Tuesday, I believe.
yeah.
Um,
October
yeah,
1st.
October 1st. So I'm super excited about that. Let us know how you feel in the comments, but we are moving on. So going back to AEW and going back to its world champion Swerve Strickland, he actually had an appearance on the Breakfast Club and he talked about a bunch of things, but one of those things that he was talking about was that WWE was trying to poach him away from AEW and to sign to WWE. His language was more so like they contacted his representatives and asked him for his availability. Do you think that that number one, that do you believe that this is true? And number two, do you think that Swerve will eventually go back to WWE one day, in spite of the fact that he is experiencing the success that he's experiencing now?
I think it's true. A lot of people just get, enamored with the fact that Triple H is, Papa H or whatever they call him, be booking. They've been pretty good the past couple of months, but at the same time, he's doing essentially what Tony Khan used to do. That's just like get all the talent. Same thing Vince used to do. Same thing that Ted Turner and Eric Bischoff used to do. It's dog. It's we watch sports. We watch real sports. No disrespect to pro wrestling. It's a sport, but we watch basketball. Like they just traded Cat to the Knicks, and he's been with that team since 2016. And this is after they showed a picture of him saying "Welcome to training camp." That's just the nature of the business when it comes to sports. Hell, jobs. You might not get traded. You might get fired and picked up by another job. That's just how it will. So I think it's something to that. It's a merit to that. But I think eventually he does go back if
Mm,
they match his price because now, yesterday's price is not today's price.
not
So his asking price is way higher. I'm pretty sure he's getting damn near $1 million because I will say that about Tony Khan. He don't mind paying you. Hell, Saraya, she just got. It's rumored that she's making about 500 grand a year, and she only wrestled probably 2 times a year, if that. So she gonna have that match with Jamie Hayter, and then we might not see her again. So I can imagine Swerve, who's there every week, and how much he's getting paid as well. But if he doesn't go back, I understand you don't need to go back now, especially if y'all about to get a TV deal. Why go back when you can make the same money and
right.
do whatever you want to do?
I agree 100%. Not only do you not have to go back, you're being featured exactly how you want to be featured on the program that you're on. I have to take back the statement they're AEW champion. He's not the world champion anymore, obviously, but he's still considered a main eventer. He's still considered a top guy. He's in a top guy program with Hangman Adam Page at the moment, even though he's been off of TV for a couple of weeks after his loss at All Out. But like if I'm Swerve Strickland, like I'm being presented the way that I want to be presented. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I'm getting paid the money that I want to be paid. And apparently there was a rumor saying that it was above market value, whatever that means. It just sounds like whoever didn't want to pay him just didn't want to pay him that much money. Um, but I think that he's in the position to be. And on top of that, MVP just made his little debut on Dynamite. We can assume that Bobby Lashley is soon to follow. Um, and whatever happens
Surely.
from there happens from there. But it's just one of those things where it's like there's no reason for Swerve Strickland to leave. He's a top guy. He's getting top guy money. The travel schedule is less, and he's probably getting paid
Hmm.
more than if he were to go to WWE. So I mean, if business is right, and they sign him, I'm pretty sure WWE's going to have to offer him more money, and they're going to have to offer him like the Cody treatment is when he comes back, because like it's one of those, he leaves WWE, he left, he raised up his stock, and now like you said, yesterday's price is not today's price, so they're going to have to do a little bit more to retain him and to obtain him for that matter. But I think it was a very, very interesting appearance and a very, very interesting move that WWE would try to make a move on him. Speaking of Breakfast Club, though, he wasn't the only person on the Breakfast Club talking about AEW. Mercedes Monet, formerly known as Sasha Banks, was also on the Breakfast Club and talking about the AEW product versus the WWE product. And she said that AEW shouldn't focus on chasing WWE and be its own product. Do you believe that AEW has been doing this so far? Or do you think that they've just been kind of like chasing WWE, if that makes sense?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen the writing on the wall the past 3 years or so when they said they weren't trying to be like WWE. They established this company to differentiate themselves from them. But they follow certain trends to a certain degree. But I will say, actually, I'll say in the past 2 years, it's been like, okay, what's going on as far as the booking
Mm,
and the story idea. So that definitely separates themselves because with the E, you could pick an individual storyline that kind of entertains you. Not lately, other than the Yeet Mania going wild and Jay finally getting the IC title. But otherwise than that, it's kind of like American Alpha that's slowing down with them versus the YA6. The YA6 ain't been showing up, so they got to get them some motion again before it gets stale. Uh, Finn versus Damian Priest, I think that should be coming to a halt. I said the Bloodline. When was that? 2 years ago, it shouldn't have ended. I think last year I said that it shouldn't have ended like last year. Yeah, last year the Bloodline stuff is just stale. Uh,
mm.
that's really they try to say it's the knife ending. No, dog, we about there because there's nothing else you can really do after this until when the Rock come back. Then maybe because he has been by far the most entertaining thing that happened to that storyline this year. So
Mm.
I think right now people have to be cognizant too. This is their off season. You can tell by how Raw is. It's their off season.
Mm.
Just AEW as well, really more so than WWE. Nah, more WWE more so than AEW. This is their off season because once football comes back, especially considering football is on probably 5 times a week, yeah, the ratings are up, but not like that. And then basketball
Right.
season about to start. Yeah, it's about to be quiet for me in wrestling anyway. Like I'll be knowing what's going on, but to a certain degree.
I agree. I think that when it comes to AEW, just the fact that AEW has so much television time dedicated to just professional wrestling matches. Not necessarily promos, not necessarily segments. The segments are very quick. It's like da 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 da, and then we're done. And so I think that AEW has done a really good job of differentiating themselves from the WWE product by putting a very, very big emphasis on the in ring product. And we saw that when they did the Will MJF match for 60 minutes. We're seeing how, you know, fifth anniversary show, they're already putting on Will and Ricochet. Like, this is a very in ring centric company, and they do a very, very good job in making that very, very known. So I think that Mercedes is right that they should continue to focus on that. I also feel like AEW is kind of actually hitting their stride a little bit again, in the sense that the program is a little bit more compelling than it was this time last year, because you do have, I think we talked about the whole story aspect, right? You do have stories. Hangman and Swerve is a great story, right? Like, but then you also have the in-ring matches. You also have that stuff. So you're getting a good mix of stuff when you tune into AEW when it pertains to like storyline stuff versus more stuff that's like in ring focus. But it's just a matter of the star power kind of having to kind of reestablish itself, because I feel like they still took a big hit when they lost CM Punk. And so they're still kind of reeling and recovering from that. But I think that Mercedes is right that they should continue to kind of make that distinction between themselves and AEW, themselves and WWE. But I want to know how everybody else feels regarding this, uh, regarding Mercedes' entire Breakfast Club appearance, but more so specifically the differentiation between AEW and WWE. Now, Mercedes kind of commented on some other stuff this week. One of those things being Vince McMahon's documentary. For those of you who are not aware, Vince's documentary is now out on Netflix. I actually have not been able to have the chance to watch it yet. I plan on watching it this week. Um, and so next week, when I come back, I'll talk about it in detail. However, I think the greatest form of advertising for the documentary was the statement that Vince McMahon issued in response to the documentary. So Vince McMahon actually put out a statement prior to the documentary being released. I'm trying to actually find it. Um,
It should be on his Twitter.
I but it should be on his Twitter. I'm trying to find the thing. I'm trying to find it now. Here it is. So I'll read out the statement. I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks with out of context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story. That was the end of his statement. I want to know, based off of the statement, how do you feel?
Guys, this man is one of the greatest con artists ever, one of the greatest actors, one of the most interesting human beings we've ever seen before, dude. Like, I've seen the first three episodes of the documentary. I'll
Mm,
watch the other three whenever I get time. It's a lot going on. And then, I mean, as of this recording, it's Sunday. It's WNBA playoffs and it's NFL. So I'll finish it whenever I get time. But that statement is basically saying, you know, they didn't ask me while I was wilding. And when you watch the documentary, the thing is with the documentary, I wasn't rushing to see it because it's stuff we already know. It was just him
mm,
re-clarifying or lying about the stuff that we know. But for the most part, he's so convincing that you like, damn, maybe he's not lying about it. But then the stuff they try to air him out about like Wendy Richter and all that stuff, he was just like, hey, I had to do what's best for business. She was gonna take the title and run off. run off on a
Hmm.
plug. That's not gonna work. So a lot of stuff, he's actually like, yeah, I did it. F it, 2 tears in the bucket. So what? That's how it really
Right.
is when you watch the documentary. But for the most part, he put out that statement, I think, just as a promo. Because when you watch the documentary, it's not like they try to make it like a burial job. It wasn't a burial job. It's stuff that we already know. He just clarifying exactly what happened, or he's lying about it. But either way, he speaks on
Mm. So to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, um, like to kind of clarify what I said earlier, not clarify, but double down. I have not watched the documentary yet. I plan on watching it this week. I'm super excited about it. But I'm gonna say this: whatever he got accused of, he did that. Like, I don't think that it's a secret. Like, the man paid more money on non-disclosure agreements than he did for the intellectual property that he bought from his two biggest competitors,
it.
WCW and ECW. He spent 15 million on NDAs. He spent significantly less than that purchasing the libraries and the intellectual properties of ECW and WCW. I am excited to see this. However, I think that the bigger message in all of this, the documentary message based off of what I'm piecing together from everybody's accounts, is the fact that WWE is no longer in the Vince McMahon era. This was less about this was less about Vince and it was more about letting people know, letting investors know, letting advertisers know, hey, we don't really deal with Vince like that. If you don't believe us, you can listen to Stephanie say that this and this and this was weird. You can listen to Triple H say that this and this and this and this is weird. You can go through the library of footage. You can hear the first person accounts, and you can kind of gather that we don't really mess with this guy anymore. And I feel like this was more to just reinforce that statement and to also reinforce that WWE is in an era of transparency, right? If I'm airing out the person who built this company from the ground up, I have no problem telling you anything else you want to know because we've already kind of pulled the curtains back on some of the dirtiest things that have happened in this company. And I think that's also something that any good PR wants to put forth as far as their company because you want to build consumer trust. So I think that these are my early takeaways, even though I haven't watched the documentary yet. That's what I'm gathering. But, we'll see what happens going from here. But I want to know if you have watched the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix. I do want to know your opinions. Leave them in the comments below. We're going to be moving on because this Saturday is Bad Blood live from Atlanta. Just announced that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be hosting the event. These are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. There was some internet complaint about how, Bad Blood is in the Black Mecca. You have Future and Metro Boomin doing the theme song, and there's no black talent on the card. I have my own theories about it, but we're gonna get into the card and we're gonna go through predictions. So the first match on the card, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Who do we have?
Going with Finn.
Going with
Uh,
Finn.
the Judgment Day 2.0, whatever they call themselves now. I forgot the phrase, or yeah, they
Street
call themselves.
Trash.
Yeah, they call themselves Street Trash, right?
I think it's still Judgment Day, but they have shirts that says Street Trash.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going with the Street Trash. I'm going with Finn. They got the numbers, man. And then we keep seeing the run-ins, and Damien ain't got no friends, so I'm going with Finn.
I'm gonna go with Finn as well. I think that regardless of this idea that Judgment Day has no leader, Finn is kind of the de facto leader because he is the accomplished singles wrestler in the group. He is a former world champion. He is a former intercontinental champion. He is now a tag team champion. Um, so um, I think that they need to establish him as a main eventer again so that he can position himself for another world title match. And I believe that defeating a former world heavyweight champion would do so. With that being said, Finn Balor. The next match, we have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Who do we have?
The real tribal chief being Solo and Jacob Fatu. Again, the number system. It's just like, dude, we got four people in our group. I don't know if Hikulele is gonna show up because I think they said he's going straight to NXT. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's more so because Cody and Roman probably won't get along. It's like they're gonna get jumped, and then it's gonna be like Roman and Cody gonna be looking at themselves like, "Nah, you tripping. We didn't even really want to team up like that." So I'm going with Solo or Jacob.
I'm going to go with Solo and Jacob as well. And I think it's going to be Jacob that has the pin on Cody. That's just my theory. But next, for the WWE Women's Championship match, we have Nia Jax versus Bayley. Who do you have in this match?
Big sexy Nia with a potential Tiffany Stratton cash in.
I can see that. I can see Nia Jax winning and then Tiffany cashing in. Um, yeah, I can see that happening as well. I'm gonna follow your lead on that. The next match is the WWE World Women's Championship, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, where Dominic Mysterio will be locked in a shark cage. Who do you think is gonna win?
Liv Morgan. She
Liv?
this title run gonna last her quite a bit of time. I don't know who her opponent would be coming up, but in the future. But I'm definitely sticking with Liv.
I'm gonna go with Liv as well. I think that they need to continue to solidify Liv as as a manipulative, conniving, find a way to win heel. I think this is
Hmm.
the perfect time to do that. So I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan, and then finally, what I think should be the main event of the show: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match.
CM Punk. Just because at this point they want to probably get him on a title run or start chasing after the title. Because Gunther
Yeah.
is Gunther Sami Zayn out on the card.
No, I don't think it's on the card. I think they still like it's still one of those like,
They building
I
it
keep
up.
saying no, like they're building it up.
I guess. But all right. So yeah, so I'm definitely going with Punk because this will lead to him trying to go after that title shot, and then old Newport voice probably gonna show up eventually, being Seth Rollins, and they got to go from there.
Newport
But
voice
then
is
he got to
crazy.
run it back on Bronson Reed too, so I don't know how this
Hmm.
gonna work out for him.
I agree. I think that Punk is gonna win. I just want to see what the next step is for Hater Drew. But I do think that Punk is gonna win. And it's gonna set him up for a title shot in the near future. So we'll see who's gonna win. But I feel like Bad Blood as a whole is gonna be great. But I want to know what everybody else's predictions are gonna be. Let us know in the comments below. But yeah, that concludes our show. Banks, thank you so much for doing this once again, Brody.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with y'all. We'll be back with y'all next week. We may even do a little space for Bad Blood, so just be on the lookout for those details. But yeah, we will see y'all next week. Have a good one, y'all. Woo! Now I need